So this is the continuation of the video, and what I have to do is I have to take the key close to the system so that I can be able to turn the ignition on. So now that the ignition is on, you can see the parking light is on, but it doesn't show, nothing shows on the dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan the issue. Sometimes you need a machine which can do a topology, but if you don't have it, you can use the machines that you have available to work on it. So what I'm doing is I'm scanning the whole system to see which of the modules I can communicate with and which of them I can't communicate with. From the previous video, you saw me jumping from the RFA to the breakout box, and the communication line was successful. So today too, I'm coming to scan the vehicle and see where the actual problem is. So that means it's like a connector issue, because one side of the mid-speed can is working, then the other side is not working. So I'll check the lines on the mid-speed can, and normally things around the rear is what is important. So let me see. So so I can check the raw units and see which of them is communicating. And if you can see, RFA is still not communicating, raw gate module is still not communicating, but raw gate trunk lower is communicating and rear AC is communicating. So it looks like some of the system on the mid-speed can is working and others are not working. So I checked my wiring diagram, and let me show it to you. So what I've done now is I checked my wiring diagram to see the actual. So this is an aftermarket wiring diagram, but I'm checking the mid-speed cans. So with the help of the OEM diagram, aftermarket diagram, or with the help of the wiring diagram, I was checking, and you can see this is the RFA. This is the RFA. This one here, keyless vehicle module, is the RFA, which is on the can line. But when you check the can system, it looks like there is portion which is this side. So it looks like some of the units, if it is available on this, I don't think this vehicle has a blind spot. So if this vehicle doesn't have a blind spot, then that means the rest here should be able to communicate with the system. So what I'm going to do is I can see on my wiring diagram on this page, I'm seeing 1 and 3, which means all the can lines here goes through this 1 and 3, and the one that goes to this side, which is 3 and 4, goes to let me see, from 3 and 4, also 3 and 4, and this page also 9 and 10. Then on this page, 9 and 10 goes to the BCM. It goes to the BCM. So with the BCM, which means it goes to the BCM. So that means that portion of the BCM will not be able, the BCM will be able to communicate with the system. If you check, the BCM is able to communicate with the system, but it's having communication issues. So when you check the faults in the BCM, it's having a lot of lost communication issues. So what I'm going to do is, let me go to my wiring diagram. So that means I don't need that one. So that means the BCM is joined to this side. The mid-speed can of the BCM is joined to this side. So I have to trace these ones and see where they are also going. And when I traced it, I find out that 1 and 2 comes here. 1 and 2 comes here. That it goes to the low tailgate control mode. I'm able to come to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skate this one. When I disconnect it, I'll connect, instead of bringing back to the breakout box, now I'll connect it direct to that side and scan the system and see if I'll be able to communicate with it. If I'm able to communicate with it, then that means the fault could be from this connector. Then I have to find for the location of this connector. So I have to find for the location of this connector, which is the low frequency. And for my and from my diagram it points out that this is the connector number, which is C4PL20B, which I'm going to search for. So when you check here too, it is CLP20B. So it tells me the location, which means it is in the trunk, the low center side, which they've stated here, center of the cargo area. So I'm going to unplug or connect my pins to it and make sure, because I'm able to communicate with the rear trunk. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect can line to it and see if the other side of the can, which means I've jammed this side, I've connected it direct and connected it to the RFA, and it's for the other can here. So I'm going to do that. Then if it's able to communicate with it, then my next target will be the itself. Sorry, my next target will be this one. Then I have to find for this connector and search for the communication can move from there to the other side of the mid-speed can. So let me do that and let's see if we're able to communicate the RFA and modules also. So now what I've done is I'll turn on my scope and ground one side of the scope, then check the can line. So you can see with this one, I'm checking the can line. This is can high, and I've connected to the RFA. So now this is the location of the tailgate, low tailgate. So I'll disconnect this. I'll connect this pins out to this can line and go and scan the vehicle and see. So okay, so this one, you can see the way the can line is reading. Let me change the time base. It looks like the vehicle has shut down. Let me turn it back on. So with this girl is having with this let me change the time base. Let me change the time base. And you can see the communication on the can line. Let me see if I can pull it up a bit. Then let me bring the center line back. Let me push it here and change the time. So you can see, normally when you see this kind of can, it means there is message going on, because some of the can lines, some of the messages, you can see some big, some small. If all of them are the same size moving around, then that means there is an issue with the can. So this tells me that there is a good communication going on. But with this, you can't see it properly, and you can see it's even bad. So this 2 milliseconds, let me change it to the, so when it comes to can, sometimes I prefer using this scope, although this scope is very fast. You see, there is a difference in the communication, the way this one presents its communication. So let me see trigger, let me pull it up a bit, let me change my time base, let me increase my time base to 1, then pull my waveform down a bit. Then you can see that there is good can communication, because you can see some of them are big, some of them are small, and they differ. So what I'm going to do is I'm monitoring this can line. I'm coming to connect this to it. Then from that, I'll go and scan the vehicle and see if now I can communicate with it. So now if you can see, there is a bit difference in, let me go to trigger, pull it down a bit. I think there is a bit different in the can line. So now I've connected it to this can. So I'm going to check and see the fault code that will come up, and erase the fault code in the scan in the BCM, and see if all of them will go up. Let me go back and rescan it and see that if now I'll be able to communicate with the RFA. And now you can see I'm having some signs on the dashboard. So the dashboard has 2 can lines, which is the mid-speed and the high-speed can. So it looks like the mid-speed can was off or something. So now I have to scan it almost 100%. Then I'll check if I'm able to communicate with the RFA. Let me see the modules that I'm able to communicate with. So now I'm able to communicate with the RFA and some other modules. So the ones that are not online means they are not available. So now you can see the RFA and it's communicating. So no fault code, live data. So now what I have to do is I have to find the connector rather. So that means the issue is with the connector which takes the signal to the rest of the mid-speed can, which is the RFA. So let me compare the ending is 21, 29, 28, and this one too is 28. So that means it's the right RFA. So I'll do that and see what we can do. So I have to search for the connector for my wiring diagram. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open another. I've already saved it, so that's the number C44 AF2 and AF1. So let me do that. Let me open that and check the location. So it looks like it is in the center, so they've written it here, center of the bumper. So link anything behind center of the bumper. So I have to search for that wire, which is C44-8-AF1. So let me see the way the connector looks like. It looks like this, and it is 10-pin connector. So I have to go and check and see if I'll be able to identify the connector. Then I'll know what to do from there. So this is the center of it. So I have to check where I can find that 10-pin connector and see the actual issue with it. So now, after checking it, I took the socket out. Let me turn on my. So now after checking it, I came here to realize that you can see that the can line is broken here. So you can see that the can line is broken here. So I think I have to remove this socket and repair it. So you can see that the can line is broken here. And because I think this car, you can see the can line is broken here. And I think because this car does not have, so they've jumped the can line so that it goes back to, we call it back to the sender. So I think I have to repair this wire. Then you can see the cables are broken. Let me repair this wire and see if everything will be back correct. Then I'll disconnect this side. I'll disconnect it. So let me start disconnecting them. Then repair the wire here. Repair this wire, and I think I'll call it FX. So let me finish with the repair, then see the actual problem. So now what I've done is I've done a temporary connection for the cable. So I've connected this to this, that to that. So now what I'm going to do is I've disconnected everything. So I have to, moment of truth, I have to go and scan it, turn the key on and scan it and see if it will. So now that I've joined the wire, what I'm coming to do is I have to turn it on. So once the key is in, now I'm not putting the key close to the ear. So now it's able to turn on. So it could be that's the issue. So I'll redo the wiring for them and let me do rescan and see the modules that I can communicate with it. Then maybe later I'll connect my SDD to it and see the modules I can connect to it. So you can see how I'm quickly scanning it without the connection again. So let me see and erase all the fault code and see the ones that will remain in the system, if there will still be any communication issue. Hey, don't go back. Okay, so it's erasing the fault codes. So I'll wait for it to erase all the fault code, then I'll see what I can do about it. Because now, BCM, all the codes are gone. Because now I'm having the key in the car and it is able to start. Thank God. Thank God I'm able to fix it. So it was the broken wire around that connector which was causing the whole issue. So now that I'm done, I'm almost done erasing the fault code. So the remaining fault code, I'll speak with the shop. If they agree I should come and do it, then maybe I'll know what to come and do. So it looks like the BCM is having only one fault, which I don't think is any major problem. The fuel pressure sensor, which is for the PCM, and the BCM is having trunk release issue. So I'll leave it for them. Then I'm done with the diagnosis. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more video. So when I turn it off, I don't need the key to be close to it before it starts. Oh, no key found. Let me take the key close to it. So I'll do key verification and speak with them about it. So sometimes the key works and sometimes it doesn't work, was because this key is having an issue. So you can see you are able to lift the battery. When you lift the battery, it lifts up, so you can see there's gap under the battery. That's why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. So if you press the lock button, let me turn on the ignition, let me turn off the ignition, and you can see now it works. So it's from the battery. So I'll let them let it, then we call it a fix. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more video. It's now on because the key is fitted now.